Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Oracles. So in today's video, I want to go through the charts with you. I want to try to break down exactly what's going on in the markets, both financial markets and the crypto markets. Why is Bitcoin going down? Why is the NASDAQ going down? And what's going to drive the next couple of days? What support levels are we looking at? Is it a good time to buy or should you be selling your assets? Right, so before we get started, definitely don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, and join our Discord. We've been talking about the markets in the last couple of days. I actually opened a huge thread on Twitter just yesterday about some really good entries. And yeah, so pretty much that's it. Don't forget to join our channels, and you will definitely gain a lot out of it. And let me get started right away. So let me show you a little bit of information and a couple of things I was looking at today, and then we're going to try to break down, what are the things that we should be looking at. So the first thing I usually looked at in this sort of scenario is the Fear and Greed index. It kind of tells me the feeling that people have for the market. Sometimes I remember last year during some of the major dumps, we're seeing absolute panic in the market, absolute fear from people. Now, a lot of the times there is a bit of a, shoulder shrug. People just go like, yeah, it's Bitcoin, it's down 5%. And, there's a major difference in between heavy panic in the markets and sells off and just a correlation to other events, which we may be seeing in the markets like today. So Fear and Greed is about 32 out of 100, and I think it's being kind of stationary in that level. So this is Bitcoin price, and if you look at the Fear and Greed index, you just look at the color to give you an indication. It has been down in that level for quite some time. Now what we want to see is that to raise at about 50, 60. I want to see some greed in there in order for something like an L season to happen. I want to share with you a couple of tweets and some of the channels that I follow that are really good, and some of the guys that actually called the sort of possible move on the downside way long ago. So El Capo Crypto has a really good profile to follow. It had a bearish view for a long time. I think it's been nearly a couple of months. It's been calling 38K. And if you look at his latest tweet, sorry, not his latest tweet, the tweet from the 29th of March this year, it kind of charted it out pretty neatly, I think. He saw the bump and then he kind of, he said, I think it's going to be a bearish scenario. I think you're going to break down the support line that was quite parabolic and we're going to see 40,000 again. Quite right, and quite well in advance. I mean, 12 days to spare, so well done for him. Good analysis here. Another one, Dingleberry. This was just from yesterday, and I kind of really liked his idea here, and this is quite standard. Sometimes when we break on the upside that strongly, we have a strong rejection and break the support and downside. Alpha BTC, really good profile to follow on Twitter, and he kind of looked at the possible bearish divergence and confirmed it 2 days ago. So it was looking at bullish and bearish cases. Always look at both of them. We don't know what's going to happen in markets, guys. We're not gurus. If anybody tells you they know what's going to happen, they don't know what they're talking about. There's no way you can predict this. But there is a lot of methods that indicate to you, for example, when a market is oversold and overbought and is a good time to entry, and you can speculate on that, or you can invest on long term and do some dollar cost average. Another one for fractals. This is just a prediction really, or kind of an analysis of what's going to happen to Ethereum. Very bearish scenario here. I think we're going to look at the charts in a second. Not unlikely for Ethereum to go down to $2,500 as we see a bearish scenario for Bitcoin. BTC USDT, different view here from FMG Stacker. And well, we're going to see what happens in the next couple of hours. We could bounce nicely off this 40K. And the next target is again 44 and then 50K. Will Clemente talking about open interest going absolutely crazy. And then a really nice answer I wanted to show you was here from the chain reaction, talking about how whales are accumulating. So whale exchange ratio, it's crazy, spiked over the weekend as well. We've seen that on Twitter. And traders are gearing up for the CPI print tomorrow. And the CPI is the consumer price index released by the Fed that will include the inflation rate, so how much inflation we're expecting, and the expectation is 8.5%, nearly 1% more than last month, so exceed 8.5%. And on days like this, the first move is often a fake out. So if you see a bounce up, likely that it will just be temporary. If you see a breakdown below, likely we'll have a bounce. And lastly, to kind of take a step back and look at this, I've seen these charts everywhere. There is something called the Wall Street cheat sheet, which is basically how Wall Street well, pretty much how the financial environment works around human emotions. And it's surprisingly accurate, I would say. You can't use it for trading, but it's a really interesting perspective. And here is kind of the same, right? Just Mami's sentiment cycle is the same cycle. And this is just a generic cycle, and Bitcoin is pretty much following that cycle on the daily, right? If you look at the daily, we are at a version, and then from here, theoretically, if you just look at, this sort of cycle, we should have a strong bounce up for the upside. So that's going to happen. I don't know. We're here to do some analysis, and the only way to figure it out is look day by day. So let's take a look at the charts together. Of course, let's start from the NASDAQ. So this is the NASDAQ. So we're looking at traditional financial markets, and I just want to give you an idea exactly what's being happening. So if we take a date and price range, and we go to the 5th of April, so about just 5 days ago, and we go up to today, that's a 7% down. Now, 7% on NASDAQ, that is a very strong move to the downside, right? That's unusual for financial markets, and especially something like an index. And so we traced a couple of support lines here, and we bounce off nicely off this first support. And what I'm interested in here is the RSI, right? The stochastic RSI is very low. The lowest we've seen it is on the 24th of February. And guess what? That's when Russia invaded Ukraine. So RSI very low here, RSI very low here. I would expect a bounce, technically speaking. And of course, there is so much more at play. Another thing I want to show you is the USDT dominance, so dollars dominance, stable coins, really. So of course, this is now going back up, which means money is flowing out of cryptocurrencies and going into stable coins. And no surprise here, really. And what we want to see though is that we want to stay below this trend line here. If we regain this line as support, then it's pretty much what we've been seeing since November, which is kind of a choppy bear market. I wouldn't call it a bear market, but a downtrending market where the money is flowing in the opposite direction of where we want it to flow. Right, let's look at BTC. So it keeps dumping. If you look at, switch to the 4 hours. But actually on the daily, what's interesting to me is this RSI down here. If you look at the RSI, and I'll just give you a better indication of a different color, look at the RSI, guys. This is a perfect indicator that tells you when the market is oversold and when it's overbought, right? So we got one here, and I was oversold. Another one here, oversold. Another one here, oversold. Now, if you just trade this every time, if you just simply follow the RSI and then trade out of the RSI, the first one would have given you a 37% price increase. The second one would have given you a 30% price increase. And if we kind of make a wild prediction and assume that it's just going to keep happening, we're looking at 50 grand, which is exactly where we want to go with BTC. We're looking at Bitcoin 50K next. And if we look at where it's been trading, it has been trading in this uptrending channel. So if I remove a little bit of this, sorry, screen. All right, if I remove this, you can see here we've been trading in this channel. So I wouldn't be surprised if, technically speaking, we bounce off here. Now, of course, we have to take into consideration news like CPI, like inflation, like war, COVID. All these things definitely come into place, and we could see a bearish scenario if you break down. And that's it pretty much for the major coins and what's happening in the markets, why it's happening. I want to go through some of the coins that I shared yesterday on Twitter. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, just let me go back and let me go to our Crypto Oracles profile. And in here, you can check out our profile and definitely find a lot of useful information, all our videos, all our updates. We do daily updates, or at least 5 or 6 a day, if not 20 sometimes. And here we talk about all the trades that we follow. And here's a thread from yesterday. So I did this mega thread talking about all the different charts. I gave you entry points, stop losses, take profits. Now, of course, I can't predict the markets. And I did say in our Discord last night that we could have seen a bit of a slip today. And that's exactly what happened. But this is a good entry opportunity if you come slightly late, for example. So I want to go through a couple of the other coins with you really quickly. Let's start with one of the risky ones that I suggested yesterday in the mega thread. And this is definitely not a very volatile coin, nothing that I would hold. It's an interesting project. So VTHO, I think it's a THETA chain, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it's a utility token and very volatile. Now, what was interesting on this one is that when I picked it yesterday, it actually raised 26% intraday, and it actually kicked out my first, it kicked in my first take profit. So that was pretty good. And then if you look at it from last night to now, we're down 30%. And I'm actually still in with what I put on Twitter the other day. And now, of course, this is not financial advice, guys. I'm just sharing my trades. I'm just sharing my my logic and how I see the markets going. So I put a stop loss here, 0048, not being triggered yet. And, you know, this can bounce very strongly. So I'm going to DCA a bit more in this. Tezos is another one that was really interesting in terms of risk reward ratio. I'm still in this trade as per my thread from yesterday. And I'm looking at a 35% bounce from here. THETA has been moving extremely strongly whenever there was a move for the upside. And this has been also trading in the uptrending channel. Sadly, we kind of just broke the channel, but we are at support level and we are doing very good on the RSI. So once again, you know, if you look at the RSI, when we bottomed out, it was here, now bottom out here. And if we just trace a couple of lines, or actually just look at, you know, the percentages wise, we got 100% from the last time the RSI reset. So THETA is one of those that I would expect to pump very highly. So if we just scroll the chart a little bit, 100% from here would bring me to my pretty much my second TP at $6, which is 2 times the price it is now. Now, of course, as I said, this is just technical analysis, guys. It's not a prediction in any way. I'm just using the data that's in the charts. And if you follow this strategy with the RSIs, it's usually really good. Like, you look at it again here, RSI reset. And then we look at the chart and we're up 83%. So you just follow the RSI, just follow stochastic RSI. Every time it bounces back down, every time it goes back down, just you know, you can DCA your entries. Super. This actually went outside of the channel, and I think it's good in the sense that it triggered my stop losses here. And we kind of re-enter that bearish scenario just now by breaking below this long-term resistance line. So if you look at Super on the long term, this is very, very, very long resistance line that formed all the way back to April last year. We had just finally broke the line and we're now back to support. Now, the good thing is, if you're interested in Super, you do have this support zone and this very good entry zone at 0.58, just a couple of cents from where we're at today. And let's just see where this closes. AVAX, also really strong mover. So AVAX also triggered my stop loss from the thread yesterday. And I think here I'm looking at the next zone, which is about $70. So let's see what happens in the next couple of days. We'll keep you updated on on Twitter. And Cosmos Atom, interesting one as well. I think this is holding a slightly longer term support. So if you look at where that is, we have this very long term support. It goes from September all up to today, and we're just touching that support. If you break that, I think we're going to see Cosmos going down to about $21. If we hold that one, you know, then we're probably going to bounce back to about 28. So you have a solid 15-20% there. Link, it's usually kind of a strong guy. So Link is an oracle that basically brings in some of the off-chain data into blockchain. And it's been quite of a, I would say, resilient chart. It's one of the charts that I usually look at if I want to go with a safe trade. And well, it's having a hit today, but I think, you know, if you look at the percentage, it's 7%, nothing crazy compared to some of the other coins we've seen today. And it kind of entered my DCA zone, RSI fully reset. And then let's look at a couple of ones that you guys would definitely be asking about. Everybody in the Discord is asking about Luna. What are we doing with Luna? Now, as you can see from my t-shirt, I'm holding Luna. And if you have Luna, well, it's up to you what you want to do. I can't share, I can't tell you what to do with Luna. I'm not giving you any advice, but my t-shirt speaks for itself. I think Luna is a project that is going to do very well on the long run. It just had a very, very strong run, right? So I'm not surprised if we see Luna falling down. I traced a couple of levels. 87 was my first one and we hit it. I'm looking at 80 next, and then 67, and then we're back to 40-45. So in a bearish scenario, I would expect Luna to retrace to about 45. And for the ones that have been around for a very long time, this looks very, very similar to Cardano. Cardano last year was very close to this, kind of the same chart, bouncing once, bouncing twice, new all-time high, and then it went back to $1. And near, absolutely fantastic here. People are just absolutely buying the dip with no they're not waiting, they're getting to the markets. I traced two possible scenarios, a bearish one and a bullish one, and it's holding support very strongly. So very, very good entry point for near, very good project. And you can see here RSI reset as well. Last time the RSI reset like this, if I get the right tool up, we saw a 44% upside. So last time reset, I think it was just a couple of weeks ago. There we go. What day was it? Oh, actually, sorry, last week, 6th of April. So really good RSI reset and RSI reset today. Of course, this is on the 4 hours. I should probably switch to the daily. Last time we saw the RSI reset on the daily, we were here. And for that point, we went up 150%. Now, I'm not saying this should happen again or this will happen again, but near definitely has seen a lot of support. All right, so I think this is it for today, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for sticking around. Don't forget to join our Discord. We've been doing live sessions. We'll be talking about trading. We'll be talking about automated strategies, algorithmic trading, NFTs. We'll be developing our own collection that we're going to drop at some point this year. And definitely join Discord because it will be a great opportunity for you to get whitelisted for our NFTs. The NFTs will give you the rights to our platform. We're creating a whole platform for market data. You will have access to automated trading, market information, on-chain analysis, educational content, and all of it through the NFT. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to join our Discord. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.